I'm trying to get, my take, my personal take on it, on the articles that I write. And so, what is a whoremonger, and who is committing the sin of whoremongering? That's what I want to talk about. I want to go into depth about it because I know that it's we're constantly talking about women being whores, but and I feel like men are not being accused of anything, and it's not fair, and it's not right, and it's not accurate, because men need to um, not be whoremongers as well. They can't commit whoredom. But we need to look at what whoremongering is, um, because we look at whoredom all the time, and we only talk about women, and it's not fair. And so let's look at this because there's so many scriptures, and I put some information together, and I'll put it in the link in the description, but it's on istudy.com right now. Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Let's look at that first. Okay. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughter unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other Elohims. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn the graven images with fire. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy Elohim. Yahweh thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people upon the face of the earth. So this is a direct commandment that the sons of Israel are not supposed to take the daughters of a stranger to wife, and you're not supposed to go find a stranger and have him marry your daughter. Okay, we are supposed to be in control in a beautiful world. We're supposed to be in control of who our children marry in that beautiful world. Might not be this one right now, but we're supposed to be in that control. So it's against the law to marry a foreigner. So when a man loves a foreign woman and they're supposed to keep the commandments, what are they actually doing? What I'm seeing is, if it's against the law to marry a foreigner, why are you falling in love with a foreigner? Because you're not really attached to keeping the commandments. You're basically lusting. I see a man wanting to be with a foreign woman to be lusting, because he's not wanting to be with her to keep the commandments, because the commandment says not to be with her. So it is lust. And when a man desires a woman for whoredom, basically not going to marry her, he's lusting after her. So lust is what's causing men to commit whoredom, to do whoremongering. So I see a man wanting to marry a foreigner as whoremongering, because he's not wanting to marry her to keep the commandments to please Yahweh. He's committing whoredom against Yahweh by marrying her, because it's against our laws. Okay, and it's also against our laws to marry someone who is not righteous. So if you're an Israelite but you're wicked, someone who's a righteous Israelite can't marry you. That's against the laws, because we're supposed to accuse our brother, our sister, or our family member. If they sin, we're supposed to grab them and report them and be the first one to throw the stone. Okay, we cannot hide somebody's sin. So imagine your wife. Your wife sins. You're supposed to bring her to be judged. In this world that we're in right now, if your wife sins a sin worthy of death, obviously you're not going to bring her anywhere to be judged. You just have to divorce her. You have to leave her. And so that's how we have to deal with the situation. We can't be with a wicked person. The scripture says not to marry, not to dwell with someone who's wicked in your household. Don't let wickedness dwell with you, basically. You can look up scriptures concerning that on istudy.com. I'll put the link in the description, because I did speak about that, how we're supposed to put away evil amongst us. And I speak a lot about not having wickedness dwell with you, because they influence you. This is why Yahweh didn't want us to have the nations living in our land, because they would influence us. They would get us to follow their silly customs, and then we would commit sin against Yah, and that's what happened. But Yahweh left the nations near us to try us, to test us to see if we would worship him. And so if you're done being tried and being tested and you see that these nations, they're wicked and they'll cause your children to sin, we need to move away from them. We need to separate from them. But that's another topic that I actually plan on talking about. Um, let's see. So it's basically lust. Lust makes a man desire a foreigner to be his wife, and it's not anything else. You're not pleasing. Yeah, you're just it's just lust. You're not in the same culture. You're not following the same God. There's really no reason to marry a foreigner. Let's look at Samson. Samson is a good example of a man committing whoredom. Okay, because the poor females are constantly talking about them being whores. And I made a video earlier about females. I want to make sure I address the issue of men because there's so many scriptures and I feel like it's overlooked. And Samson was a whoremonger. Oh yeah, I like Samson. He was a good guy as far as fighting the Philistines, but he wasn't that good. Okay, let's tell the truth and read Judges chapter 16. Then went Samson to Gaza, and there he saw a harlot. What did he do with that harlot? Let's find out. And went in unto her. Okay, so there you go. He's a whoremonger. That's out the way. It's true. And it was told to the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him about and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all night, saying in the morning, when is it day? When it's day, we should kill him. And Samson lay until midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts, and went away with them, the bars and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill that is before Hebron. So after he was done dealing with the harlot, he just ripped the doors. He was that strong and he was showing off, and he carried it up a hill just to show the people that, look, you don't want to mess with me. I got your door. It was pretty funny. Yahweh was using was using Samson this whole time, as you read in the scriptures. It happened for a reason. Um, he was being used, but either way, he was a whoremonger. He liked whores. You couldn't use Samson if he didn't like harlots. Yahweh could not use Samson to bother the Philistines if it wasn't in Samson's heart to sleep with a harlot. Let's look at that. If you have sin in your heart, you are making it accessible for Yahweh to use it, and it could be evil against you. In the end, we all know the story. Samson died. He died and he was used by Yahweh, but he was used because sin was in his heart. He wanted to sleep with a foreigner. He wanted the Philistines as a wife, and he knew that that was wrong. He was a judge. I mean, this is the book of Judges. He was a judge. So he knew it was wrong, but he wanted what he wanted. But in the end, he was being used. Verse 4, this is when he wanted Delilah. And it came to pass afterwards that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistine came up unto her and said to her, entice him and see wherein his strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. So that's a lot of money. So basically, a foreign woman could use you to basically do something for the enemy. So how do you take down a man who's strong or has a lot of protection? The scriptures have always shown a woman to take down a man. If you read in the Apocrypha, in the book of Judges, I forget that woman's name. Oh, I forgot her name. Oh, she should be honored. I'll write it in the description right this second. I don't remember her name. Judith. Her name's Judith. The story of Judith, she was beautiful. She was able to cut down a strong person, a strong leader, a strong king in the Bible because of her beauty. So women are, you could say, the strongest force to take down a strong man. You could be used. So if you're a man and your weakness is woman, good luck. You're going to need it, because literally you can be used. Remember, I mentioned how in last week's video how your addiction could cause you to be used for witchcraft, and witchcraft is deception. Okay, so Judith lied in the Apocrypha that she was into the guy, and it was some sort of witchcraft, but it was deception. Either way, it worked. You know, we gotta know when we are making ourselves this susceptible to be used. Okay, and being addicted to anything makes you susceptible to that thing. So just think about it. Watch that video. Judges. Let's see here. Judges chapter 14 and 1. Before Delilah, Samson loved Philistines. And if you read in Judges chapter 4 and 1, Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said to him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all thy people, that thou shouldest go take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said to his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. And so you see, Samson did not do what his parents wanted. Samson was warned by his parents, but Samson lusted after the Philistines and just wanted that woman. In the end, he did not get her as a wife. And Yah used him because he was lusting after the Philistines. And, basically it led up to the Delilah story. And so this was in his heart from the beginning to mess with the Philistines. He didn't find pleasure in a woman among the brethren. Why is a woman among your own people not satisfying for you if you're a man? Why do you need to go get a foreigner? You should be building up your people. If you're a good man and you could support a wife and you're righteous, why would you uplift a someone else's female? Shalom, some other nation's female. Why would you do that? And so, unfortunately, Samson liked the Philistines, and it was to his demise. But his father and his mother knew not that it was Yahweh that sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So Samson was used by Yah, and that is in Judges 14 and 4. Malachi 2 and 11. Judah has broken faith. An abomination has been committed in Israel in Jerusalem. So let's see what Malachi said this abomination was. There's an abomination. Let's find out. For Judah has profaned Yahweh's beloved sanctuary by marrying the daughter of a foreign Elohim. And as the man who does this, Yahweh cut off from the tents of Jacob everyone who is awake and aware, even if he brings an offering to Yahweh of hosts. So Judah sinned. In Ezra chapter 9, it speaks concerning how the whole priest, let me see here, the kingdom of priests and even the princes took foreign wives, and it destroyed the nations. And Nehemiah also speaks about it. I mean, really, Yah warned us, and I see it. You could teach your children. I see it happening now in my life. I've been wanting a community for so long, and maybe my energy just wasn't strong enough. I tried to gather people and to do it, but maybe I wasn't that serious. And now I feel like it's too late. My children are all grown, but wow, I should have forced that energy to do a community, and I will be doing a live about doing a community. We need to separate from the people, and we need to, and most of us, we're not well off, okay? I'm not well off, Sometimes I have money, sometimes I don't, but that can't be an excuse for us to separate from the nations. We have to do whatever we can, and where there's a will, there's a way. If we really want to separate from the nations, from the people land, we can do it, okay? But it has to be a strong desire, determination. We have to have a pioneering spirit that no matter what, we will get it done. And we have to want righteousness. Ezra chapter 1. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, the Amorites, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of the lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers hath been chief in this trespass. I'm going to pause right there, okay? Because the princes and rulers were, they had eyes on them. They were the ones who had to really be righteous because people follow them. Remember in the scriptures when you read the book of Joshua, whenever a ruler was wicked, the people were wicked. Whenever a ruler was righteous, the people were righteous. So the ruler plays a strong hand in the people being righteous. This is why when you read Zephaniah, Zephaniah, is it Zephaniah? Let me see if I can get it. When you read in Zephaniah, I don't want to quote it wrong, so let me just see if I can get it here. I want to check it to make sure. Make sure I got it right. Okay, Zephaniah 1 and 8. And it came to pass in that day, in the day that Yahweh sacrifice, I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are clothed with strange apparel. So Yahweh is going to punish the leaders of Israel for wearing strange apparel. Why are the leaders going to be punished? I've explained this before, but this is the topic in the video. Because they are the ones who are an example for the people of the land. They're the ones who set the tone. You know, there's a tone that is set by a leader, and the people follow. You know, people, unfortunately, they do follow man, and unfortunately, if you're not leading righteously, you're going to lead everybody, you know, into the pit, unfortunately. And that's why Yahweh writes a lot about what does this say right here? How would it be proved today? Okay, I'm not sure about your question. Numbers chapter 5. Okay, I will look into Numbers in a second. He quoted a scripture, Numbers chapter 5, 12 to 31. I'm gonna look into that. I got to see what that scripture says. Okay, so basically the leaders set the tone, and so when the leaders start sleeping with a foreign wife, then other people in the nation, they think that it's okay. And unfortunately, what we see on the TV is showing us, because people are admiring the movie stars. Look at the movie stars. Look at how when a brother is successful, he ends up having a white woman on his arm. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. Like the list can go on and on. Like, you know, it's like they usually do it more than they don't. The guy from the was it the HBO show, was it Ghost? You know, his real wife in real life was a white woman. I mean, all these people, the guy that does all the movies, Key and Peele, they both got white wives, the both of them, you know, literally, like you can go on and on. It's like nothing against white people, but it's like the brothers who see them, they copy them. They think, oh, when you're rich and famous, you got to get you a white woman. And so it makes the sisters who see it think that they're inadequate, that they're not a prize, that as soon as the brother gets rich, they're gonna dump him and get a white woman. And so they want to be a prize. They end up going with a white man because the white man seems to be honoring them. And so it's pretty sad. Why can't you love yourself and love your people? And also your people need to be uplifted as a whole. We're following the nations from the beginning, and it's destroyed us, and it's destroying us now. Continuing, and so in Ezra chapter 9, verse 3, and when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and mantle and plucked off the hair of my head and my beard and sat down, astonished. So when he heard this, he basically he shaved his beard because it's like a sign of mourning, and his head, because it was like really devastating. Then were assembled unto me everyone that trembled at the words of the Elohim of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away. I sat astonished until evening. So I believe this was Ezra. Ezra was astonished. Nehemiah 13, 23 to 27. And in those days I saw Jews that married wives of Ashdod, and of Ammon and of Moab, and their children spake half in speech of Ashad, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by Elohim, saying, You shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons for yourself. So he was being forceful, even hurting them to get them to listen and obey, which I don't think is the right route to go. But I mean, I guess it sets an example. I like people to do things willingly so you can see what they're true hearted. And that's what I see the pattern of Yahweh. Yahweh didn't force people to get the commandments, but he did punish you when you broke it, um, you know, kicked you out, or but he's not going to force anyone to worship him. If he only wants sincere people. Verse 26. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? So Solomon had like 1,000 wives, and look at how his kingdom got divided. His son didn't get the whole, he didn't get to rule over all the tribes. The kingdom ended up being smaller than, he got like what, 3 tribes? Let's see here. Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his Elohim, and Elohim made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish woman cause to sin. So Solomon, with all his wisdom, he's the smartest man alive, could have been the smartest one even today. He couldn't withstand the powerful influence and peer pressure that his wives gave him, and he became probably the most wicked man alive. He went from being the most righteous to the most wicked, all because he married strange wives. So let that be your example. So I'm going to check out that scripture. You said Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 5, verse 12. Let me see what that looks like. Numbers 5. Okay, I'm going to read it so we can. Oh, the adultery test. Okay, the adultery test. Okay. So this is Numbers chapter 5 is the adultery test. 5 verse 11. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say to them, If any man go aside and commit a trespass against him, a man lie with her carnally, it be hid from the eyes of her husband, he kept clothed, and she be defiled. There be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the matter. The spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled, then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and she shall offer an offering for her 10 part of the ephah of barley meal, and he shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense upon thereon, for it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, and bringing iniquity to remembrance. Okay, so basically, the spirit of jealousy can come upon a man whether a woman sins against him or whether he doesn't sin. Okay, so sometimes a man is jealous because he's jealous for no reason, but sometimes a man is jealous and he senses something's wrong, and it's like an intuitive. So we have more senses than they tell us we have. If you research, we have more than 5 senses. I know in school they used to teach we have 5 senses, but we have more senses than that. And intuition is real, and it's a sense. So the spirit of jealousy could come because the man is sensing something is off. So verse 16, and the priest shall bring her near and set her before Yahweh, and the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take it and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before Yahweh, and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is the jealousy offering. The priest shall have in his hands bitter water that caused it the curse. So basically, the woman's supposed to drink that water, and if she sinned against him, her thighs would get rotten. You could continue reading it, but I'm not so sure why you brought this up concerning this topic. I'm reading this scripture because it was brought up. It's a good scripture, but I don't see the relationship in this scripture. It's not to do with the topic of whoredom. Although it's to do with the topic of whoredom for her. She committed whoredom and then it be found. So you said, how would it be proved today? Well, we don't have a priest among us, so that was your question. So how would it be proved when a woman sins? Well, if you have, you really have to like just be watching her, see the signs. If a woman is being secretive, if a woman can't show you her phone, or the password for the email, and she's being ultra secretive, there's your sign, because that is how you know when a woman is hiding something, and she's acting like she's naked, because when you're naked, you're covering up. Because in the Manakati language, the word naked has to do, it also is translated as crafty and wisdom, because when you're naked, you cover up, you hide. So when a woman is hiding and she's being real crafty and really deceptive, that's how you know she's cheating. So you need to like be wise and watchful. Anybody is cheating if they can't even show you the password. They're not being true to the person that they really are. So I'm gonna continue to where I was on this topic. 1 Samuel chapter 2. This is a good scripture. This is one of the main scriptures that got me to seeing the whoredom that men do and how it's not approved in the scriptures. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 12. I'm going to drink some water because I'm getting thirsty. Get more water. Okay. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. Okay, that's kind of like a cuss word. They were not sons of Belial. They were sons of Eli. Okay, but it's almost like saying like, yeah, they served other gods. So it's kind of like a cuss word saying somebody's a son of Belial. And basically they knew not Yahweh. So Eli was a priest, a high priest, and his sons were wicked as hell. Okay, and they didn't know Yahweh. And this is what they did because they didn't know Yahweh. Verse 22. Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, how they lay with the woman that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Okay, so these are leaders. Eli's sons were wicked, and Eli didn't put it in check. He was the high priest. He should have stopped that because they were influencing the people of the land to be wicked. So much so, the women were sleeping with him because this was allowed to continue. We cannot allow wickedness to dwell in our tabernacles. And we're going to continue to read. This didn't end well for Eli's sons or Eli because Eli was responsible for this. Okay, and I'm going to continue reading. And he said unto them, why do ye such things? For I hear of all your evil doings by all his people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. Ye make Yahweh's people to transgress. So Eli knew that his sons made his people to sin. But he didn't do anything. All he did was speak to them, and he disapproved, but he didn't do anything. If one man sins against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sins against Yahweh, who shall entreat him? Notwithstanding, they hearken not to the voice of their father, because Yahweh would slay them. Notwithstanding, they hearken not unto the voice of their father, because Yahweh would slay them. So they didn't listen because Yahweh would slay them. I don't understand that verse, why it said it that way. That must be like a translation error. I got to look into the translation. But they didn't listen. So Eli, I hate to say it, but Eli should have put his son to death, because I'm not going to read it anymore. Because if you continue to read 2 Samuel's and continue to read, Eli eventually got put to death. His sons went into battle. I don't want to ruin the story. They died. You should read it. If you've never read it, it's a good story. It's historical account. I don't like to call Bible history as a story. It's a historical account. It's a record of our ancestors left for us. So it's all true and it's history. And so you have to be an example. If you are a leader in Israel and your children are wicked, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. You cannot let your children dwell with you because all eyes are going to be on you, and it's a bad example. You have to refute it, and you have to do something. You have to do something. I hate it. I hate that the children, I hate that the world is like this, that the parents might be good, children not good. Children might be good, the parents not good. I just hate it. It drives me mad. And it's frustrating for me. We really need Yahweh to be here. We really need Yahweh to be here. Hosea chapter 4 and 9. And there shall be like people, there shall be like people, like priests. I will punish them for their ways and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to Yahweh. Whoredom and new wine take away the heart. So look at that. New wine take away the heart. Whoredom and new wine take away the heart. Now, it's back to the video that I made last week concerning how wine and smoking can cause you to be taken by witchcraft. It's the same thing. It makes you susceptible to be controlled, because the wine controls you. The whoredom, the lust controls you. Verse 12, my people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them. For the spirit of whoredom hath caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their Elohim. So the spirit of whoredom hath caused them to err, because whoredom is a lust, and lust can control you and take you to places where you don't even really intend to go. And so there it is. Going against Yahweh's commandments is committing whoredom, but more specifically, marrying a woman. If you're a man marrying a woman from another nation who doesn't serve Yah, or a woman who doesn't serve Yah, let's say she's an Israelite, you don't serve Yah, is committing whoredom against Yah, because you're not going to raise righteous seed. If you guys don't have any questions, any comments, I'm going to say shalom. Hope this video has been informative. Shalom.